Gary Jackson here with the Kaleido. So one of the things is I work for CGI Federal. I love you. I mean, as a startup, what you guys, I know you don't get to see all the things and amazing things on the outside because you're inside and seeing it every day. But I believe that in one way, you're making blockchain almost too easy. Right? So explain, Sophia, explain what Kaleido does, and then kind of explain how you got into it and how you got involved.
Sure. Kaleido is a Web3 infrastructure company.
Okay.
Our mission since day one, over 5 years ago, was to make Web3 digital assets, NFTs, blockchain radically simple for enterprises to use.
Okay.
So
wow, that's so simple. And that's it. You said full stop. Wow, okay, excellent. I mean, you really have done that too.
I think we've delivered.
Yeah. What was it like before, though? Let's say Kaleido never existed. You go into another metaverse and there's no Kaleido. How hard was it before?
Well, it's an interesting question. Actually, 5 years ago, we founded Kaleido. But prior to that, we'd spent 2 years in the enterprise blockchain space from the very beginning, the birth of enterprise blockchain at IBM.
Okay.
And launched the world's first blockchain managed service, was contributing our code to become Hyperledger Fabric, and just helped jumpstart that community. So really saw that running a blockchain node is maybe 5% of 5 to 10%, or maybe less than 5, depending on the solution, of an actual solution that enterprise needs a full stack of software. You need to reimagine middleware, reimagine how you share files and store things. So, imagining a world without Kaleido, we lived that for 2 years. And we saw clients trying to build the technology. It became custom consulting, multi-year build-outs. You just imagine the tab running up when you've got teams and teams of people building. So we really just wanted to put that big easy button on top of adopting these technologies so that society, governments, companies, individuals, that we could all benefit from these technologies and get to those benefits instead of getting mired in, half-decade-long projects.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. A lot of them has been very, very, very difficult, long-standing, very, very expensive, and just, I think, Trevor, you were showing it yesterday, 5 steps, right? So, Trevor, what is your role in Kaleido? I mean, other than fix it all, make it all work.
I'm on the technical enablement team at Kaleido, so I do a lot of customer support, a lot of customer education, a lot of giving the Kaleido demo to prospective Kaleido customers, and kind of getting that feedback, bringing it to the rest of the team.
And were you a blockchain developer prior to this, or you just got sucked into it?
No, I wasn't. I was working at MetLife out of college, helping with kind of like kind of enterprise application monitoring.
Okay.
At MetLife, helping with kind of critical priority 1, priority 2 incidents, figuring out what's going wrong, getting those back up. But blockchain, well, during college, I took an emerging technologies class.
And where'd you go to school, if you don't mind me asking?
Chapel Hill.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yep.
UNC.
Yep. So we focused on like drones, we focused on AI, we focused on stuff like that. And coming out of college, I started to hear about blockchain, started to read about it, got really interested in it, specifically looking at the private side of things first.
Yeah.
But then was part of this Web3 meetup group in Raleigh, was attending those every so often, and Sophia came one day and had a chance to speak at the end of it and give a little background about Kaleido and kind of say, hey, we're hiring. And I was looking to kind of move out of the old technology kind of stack at MetLife and move into a startup, move into something new, move into the blockchain space.
So for both of you, you lived in the traditional world, you started in the traditional world, now it's non-traditional. How do you, why is it important that we're moving away from centralized stuff to decentralized? What's the win with going decentralized?
Well, there are many wins,
okay.
which is the fun part. There's a lot of different ways you can look at the technology and leverage it. I guess there's the B2B world. We can start there. Maybe that's where enterprise blockchain first started looking and saying, we have all of these multi-party processes where, supply chain, if you look at COVID,
pandemic,
we couldn't find where the toilet paper was.
Right.
Like we literally didn't have toilet paper or masks or hand sanitizer.
Right.
And some of that was scarcity, but some of it was sort of, track and trace, provenance, traditional supply chain problems. So if you look at, the ability of an enterprise within their company to, if they're a very large corporation, can be difficult to even know within their own company what's happening. And they've adopted these middleware technologies like enterprise service buses and other mechanisms to just, databases internally to reconcile. But when you work with companies outside of your four walls, now you have a non-trusted party that you're saying, hey, I sent you the good 2 weeks ago. And they're saying, we never got it. And you're going back
Check
and forth.
is in the mail type of thing.
The billing disputes.
Right.
So actually one of our first projects back when we were still at IBM was looking at our own supply chain with external party and suppliers. And the initial dispute resolution was over 40 days.
Wow.
And then bringing that down with blockchain, just having the shared view and the shared visibility. So instead of everyone reconciling their databases and that going on for weeks and months, you can just look and see what the shared view is, and it's immutable. You trust it. There's transparency. So bringing those disputes down to days or hours and just resolving things. And then obviously there's some areas like receivables factoring where you take people owe you money, you go to the bank, pay me part of that. In every part of the world we heard people are taking the same invoice to many banks.
Yes, exactly.
The money many times over, and they're overexpended. The banks are getting risks, and so it's just solving simple multi-coordination problems like that is like a very simple win. So that's where, that's one with the B2B sort of side of things. There's existing business relationships, but what happens when you bring trust and transparency, immutable, everyone's staring at the same shared data, you have the shared application logic.
Okay.
So there's basically a decentralized app that spans all these separate companies, which has never happened before because the technologies didn't exist.
Right.
But then when you look at B2C and you look at innovations like in the token space, so what can you do with NFTs? We're very focused on enterprise, so enterprise NFTs, we've had a group of 200 insurers during coming out of COVID, saying we need to digitally transform, move to the cloud. This is an surety bond space where all of the actors, it's like paper-based.
Yeah.
So they moved to the cloud. They digitized. They were representing the powers of attorney with NFTs.
Huh.
This is a very good mechanism to track the powers of attorney and some of the changes, so they know who's authorized to like the obligees and sureties and agents to sign for loans, and you have this like immutable sort of audit trail, and sort of chain of custody around the documents. But supply chain, you can use NFTs for digital twins.
Right.
We actually work, also in spaces like gaming. So gaming companies are saying, we want to move our in-game assets to be represented as NFTs. Now the gamers have a lot more control. They can take that asset that they've won and, earned in a game through gameplay and move that to another game in that ecosystem. A lot of these gaming companies have huge portfolios, or then just take it externally to a marketplace and it's their asset. They can sell it and do whatever they want with it. But day to day, there's millions of these in-game assets, so they need those to be gas-free. Mm-hmm. And then they might be like 10,000 that are like the special rare ones where they want, low gas, or they want to, they bring it all the way to the main net. But we offer all of those options. So all the way from public, we have these multi-party type tool sets and chains, to more of like app chains, which is newer.
Nice.
Newer in the space, side chains, and all the way to public.
Wow.
So we offer that whole continuum of options depending on the use case the companies we work with need.
What's funny is that you bring that up. Here we are at ETHDenver. My understanding is Ethereum was actually created by Vitalik because he was playing video games. Someone wiped out his person that he had created, and it made him angry, and he wanted to create something that couldn't be erased or edited, and now we're full circle, right? One of the other things I think is really interesting about ETHDenver is there's so many creatives. You go here, it's like a Comic-Con, really. I mean, it's just fashion. There's a new lingo of talking, but then you're bringing use cases. So they're building it, but they're like, well, I don't know how we're going to use it. Then you're saying, here's the use case. So I think this is a perfect mashup of you go out, be innovative and creative. We're gonna bring the customers to you. Is that kind of where you see yourself here at ETHDenver doing?
We definitely work really closely with the Web3 communities and looking for, we run manage, host, open source code bases, which are these communities.
Yep.
And there was a layer that wasn't being represented by any layer 1, 2, or storage or Oracle community. And so we ended up open sourcing a lot of our secret sauce. And now that's our open source community because we wanted the full stack to be open source. That's Hyperledger Firefly.
Right.
That's
I was wearing the T-shirt yesterday.
Yes.
I'm not today, but yeah, got it. Great T-shirts.
So so it's just a very open approach. We really want to bring the whole community forward. Just help people be able to adopt the technologies much faster. I mean, I've been a technologist for many years. Started as an engineer, and then moved through. I was at IBM for a decade. And you see some of these technologies like AI, fits and starts over 3 or 4 decades before it really got to where it was
traction.
Easy enough to use.
Right.
API driven, wasn't a big service. It used to be a big services engagement before.
Right.
So really trying to accelerate that cycle of innovation. And we have over 500 APIs. You can come and build like your team has been doing.
Yeah, we love it. Yeah.
And you could digitally discover us, try us for free. People have raised millions of dollars on our free tier.
Wow, that's great. To pay for their tier. Right.
It's
to
a free
upgrade.
Tier.
Yeah, I know, but you can upgrade. Yeah. Nice.
They had cool concepts, and they just needed to show how is blockchain differentiating what we're doing.
Wow.
How does it work? So their stakeholders could get it. And there's a lot of areas. I didn't even talk about asset tokenization and liquid markets, private markets, and being able to, like financial services, but a lot of other sectors. There's a lot of really cool ways to use the technology, lots of use cases. So we're looking at just bringing forward best-of-breed technologies to our platform, managing that, putting the big easy button on, and then working with all sorts of companies and governments.
Partners, creatives.
So B2B, B2C, all sorts of use cases where people who really know the pain points in their industry or in their sort of ecosystem that they're in that they want to solve.
Yeah.
And then they could just with Web 2 skill sets, because these are RESTful APIs, and any application developer can code too. So just be able to very quickly produce those decentralized apps and get to market.
So one of the things I was going to bring up, you had an announcement that you made. I know, Trevor, you were part of that. You were part of that too, Sophia. So with Polygon, did you want to kind of share that announcement? What did you announce over the weekend here at ETHDenver?
Yeah, it was actually yesterday. That's part of like a DID, distributed ID, it's a set identity set of activities. Well, our partnership with Polygon goes back almost a year now. So we saw enterprises were looking at doing things, more hybrid solutions where they might do some things on a public or an app chain and then want to move those assets to a public chain.
Right.
I think I might have mixed up the order. They
Yeah,
start on a private or app
and then
chain
they want to move
and
it
then
to public.
So
Right.
Polygon is a great partner. We had a big announcement in ETHCC, which is a big event in Paris, which is great. And so we've been working with them. We offer a variety of their ecosystem of products or protocol offerings. So a Polygon ID is one of the newer aspects that's been maturing in their portfolio, and we have a number of clients who are interested in that, and we've been running projects. So we had the joint announcement with them yesterday, and we're running and hosting some elements of that, so bringing that easy button so people can adopt those technologies.
Because you say it so easily, but moving from private to public chain and asset and making sure it's traceable and things don't fall apart, that is not easy, by the way.
Well, surprisingly, even just getting data on and off a blockchain is difficult.
I agree.
We were in a large bank the other day, and something we built almost 5 years ago was a component called ETH Connect, and now it's EVM Connect because we work with any EVM compatible chain. But just being able to have exactly once delivery.
Right.
That's actually a pretty hard problem.
It's
Bank
very
had
hard.
spent maybe at least 6 months to a year just trying to build that, and one of the guys is like, please help me. I want to see my wife. I don't want to get divorced. I don't want to be up at 2 a.m. because things fail. And then just the way that those communities and protocols evolved, it's not really necessarily always with the enterprise mindset about how you resolve the transaction and you have the ID and proof that it was delivered.
Yeah.
So bringing some of those concepts in and then just building the tech so it delivers on that. And then building capabilities like event streams, so it's very easy to get data off the blockchain, just sort of instantaneous updates.
Wow.
and we're working with developers. They could be different stages internally of how they use APIs and webhooks and
Wow.
different technologies. So there's, people have been moving to the cloud, and that's accelerated since COVID, probably
Yeah.
by a decade,
Yeah.
the digital transformation journey. So people will do a once-in-a-generation lift and shift of these back-end or older, heritage systems. And they're saying we want to use the latest technologies and these new sort of business models that are evolving as well as part of that.
Uh-huh.
In some sense, to disrupt themselves or disintermediate them, to get on the next wave of innovation before someone else comes into their industry and does that.
Disrupts them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're at ETHDenver. Final question for both of you. What things have you seen trends? Like Trevor, what have you seen while you're walking the aisles that's just been surprising, fast? Wow, this is really becoming a thing. What have you seen here trends-wise at ETHDenver?
Yeah, I mean the number of zero knowledge
Right.
protocols is really astounding.
There's
I mean,
a
we
ZK
know
Bob display right there, which is just what? Anyway.
exactly, and I mean, and it's so tough to keep up with kind of like all the different players in the ecosystem. So it's really great to kind of have so many of those big ones, so many of those ones who have created products and working products here all in one place where we can just go between booths and kind of talk with them, ask them, hey, how's your protocol work? What are you guys
Right.
focusing on? Where are you guys going
Wow.
in the future? So I mean, zero knowledge, there's a lot of work being done there.
Yeah.
And it's really great to see all the different protocols here. And be able
And
to
think
talk
about it, a year ago it was really a lot. I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, it was really just theory. They hoped. Now there's product offerings all over the place around that. So I have to agree. I think that was surprising. How about you? What have you seen at the ETHDenver walking the aisles?
Well, one interesting thing for me was just seeing how the event has evolved itself. I mean, it started as a meetup,
Right.
and in previous years was all in downtown Denver, some smaller venues and spaces, and of course we all made it work. But it's nice seeing it expand out to a bigger footprint so that more people can get involved. I've spoken with a number of people. They're pretty pretty new into the
Yeah.
Web3 space,
Yeah.
of sort of all ages and backgrounds, and it's exciting to see the community continue to grow and the innovation growing. Of course, enterprise adoption's been steadily increasing.
Yeah.
I'll say, on the pure crypto side, we're still in a crypto winter.
Yeah.
I think no one would dispute that, probably.
Right. No, I
Sounds
agree. Right.
I did see something 2 days ago. They said crypto winter's over. I'm like,
Huh.
okay, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't-
Maybe it's spring.
Our
Maybe it's
portfolios
Groundhog's
would
Day.
say differently, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Correct. Yeah.
So, but just seeing all the energy and excitement. I mean, it's a really passionate community.
Yeah.
Brings together a lot of people with really interesting, ideals for
Yep.
building a future together. How technology can help with that. How an inclusive,
Yes.
very inclusive group. I mean,
Yes.
from the very beginning, ETHDenver had daycare. They
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
like the Buffy kids nursery section we walked by. They really wanted to prevent barriers from anyone who wanted to participate being able to come and then contribute to the community and learn.
Wow. And there was I think there's almost 30,000 people that have come to ETHDenver so far. And this is just day one. I mean, you've got the rest of the weekend. But it's an honor to be able to speak to both of you. We had a dinner last night, had a great time with both of you. And I'm looking forward to doing a lot of implementations and selling and making a lot of deals happen. So I'm very, very excited about working with you.
Well, I did want to just say we're very excited working with teams like yours, Gary. You guys are a lot of fun, which is great.
We love
and
working with you guys. Yeah.
Very nice.
And you bring us swag, which is also nice. Yeah.
Nice people with really good hearts. You're doing really cool things, and it's just so much fun to see what you're building in the technology and how you're bringing it to some pretty traditional corners of the government.
Very traditional.
Yeah.
Blockchain and federal government are just all in water. It just would not work.
But I mean, this is helping all of us
Right.
because we all benefit when trailblazers like you and your team break through some of the sort of inertia and the
Yeah.
way things have been done and just blaze a new trail. So
Awesome. Yeah. Well, let's keep it going. I can't wait to do this same time, same channel 1 year from now. And I guess then it'll be like 60,000 people, I guess, at the ETHDenver, right? So, and I know, so thank you both, and see you next year at ETHDenver.